Amazon own MGM. It's done. Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So this news is a little bit irritating for me because basically I've just concluded editing a video all about how this deal was definitely going to go through. Basically inspired by a bunch of YouTube videos scaremongering, one included on Gateworld a little bit, about how this deal might actually get locked up in a legal battle. And I was basically saying in the video that that's not going to happen. The deal will almost certainly go through, but what would happen in the different scenarios? You can watch that video because I'm going to stick it on the end of here. I put all the hard work in at the end of the day. I'm not just going to delete the damn thing. But I've never been happier, really, to not need to publish a video because this deal has gone through. There was a deadline, basically, for the FTC to oppose the deal because the FTC doesn't actually authorise a deal. It basically just has to oppose it or not. If it doesn't oppose it, the deal goes through. The deadline for that was yesterday, and it has passed. So Amazon and MGM have announced that the deal is finalised, and it is now going to go through the final stages of the merger. Those final stages, I'm certain, would have been discussed in detail over the last 12 months, but MGM is going to see a little bit of a restructure. Amazon are going to put their own people in, and things that have been sort of talked about a great deal over the last 12 months can finally be finalised. We can start getting a few projects green-lit. But what projects will they be? Well, if you're a regular sidetracker, you'll know that Amazon have been talking to MGM about pushing forwards with 3 big projects. One of those is going to be the new James Bond. The other, Stargate, the project I really want to see. And the third one being a big reboot of something MGM already own, a big franchise hard reboot of something. Now, they have 3 big projects in mind for that. I'm going to tell you what those are in the next couple of videos. But for today, this is good news because this means we're actually going to start getting some official news about Stargate and other projects coming through Amazon in the next few months. They are going to want to have a big news story, something to make Amazon customers and MGM lovers very happy. Those projects will be announced in the next few months, and I cannot wait, fingers crossed, for Stargate to be one of them, because I know they've been talking a lot about Stargate, but talk is cheap. I now want them to actually sign on the dotted line and get something in pre-production, whether that's Brad Wright's project, another project that's being looked at, or a hybrid of the two. I don't really care. Whether it's a movie or a TV show, I don't really care. I just want Stargate announced and official. Because, let's be honest, we've been looking forward to this since SGU closed. And now we're going to finally get it. So, please, watch the video that is now redundant. Because, I put a lot of work into it, so, give it a chat. And you'll understand, actually, to be fair, from that video, why this was always going to happen. And why MGM-Amazon deal could never be opposed by the FTC. Thanks for watching, guys. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you want to become a fully fledged sidetracker and support the channel, it really helps. Consider hitting that join button. And as always, please, guys, stay safe. I'll see you soon. In about 30 seconds in another complete new video. The FTC is about to rule on the sale of MGM to Amazon, and Stargate will quickly follow. But where are we at legally right now? Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So, we're at a critical stage in the FTC look into the sale of MGM to Amazon, or its merger. And there have been a lot of scare stories out there, all over YouTube, etc., about how basically the sale might be at risk. That the FTC don't really like this deal, and that they are maybe going to have a legal battle to prevent it. But where have all these rumours come from, and let's be honest, what's actually true at the moment? The sale of MGM to Amazon is actually going through all over the world. Australia has already said we have no problem with this. The EU is reportedly about to do the same, and the UK will follow shortly. But really, the only country that matters is the United States and the FTC, because that's primarily where MGM and Amazon operate. So let's dispel a couple of myths straight away. Now, people at MGM have spoken to me. I have my inside sources, and they've told me a long time ago, and I told you guys in videos 6 months ago nearly, that they feel that Amazon is kind of being victimized and the sale was taking a long time, that the FTC were dragging their feet. Now, they told me at the time this was because Amazon don't pay their taxes, and that is how I reported to you. But actually, it's a bit more complicated than that. You've got to remember, these are creative types. They're not legal types, so they explain things in the way they understand. But basically, they are right in a way. Amazon is not the most popular company in the world. In America and in Western Europe, they're kind of seen as this big multinational that don't really have the best business practice. They're very aggressive, they're destroying the high street, and they don't pay their fair share in tax. Now, they don't pay their fair share in tax perfectly legally. There is a difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. Basically, one is legally using the tax code and the tax laws to pay as little tax as possible, and the other one is lying about your income so that you pay less tax. Amazon do the first. They pay as little tax as humanly possible, but they do it perfectly legally, and they're very good at it. This makes them quite unpopular with some governments, which I find incredibly ironic, because it's the government that create the tax laws that Amazon then use to pay as little tax as possible in the first place. MGM and Amazon actually do have an enemy at the FTC and actually have tried to get this person removed from the FTC chair, or get her to recuse herself from the talking about this deal, because she's been so publicly against Amazon. The FTC chair is a lady called Khan, who, as we know as sci-fi fans, nobody called Khan is ever a bad person, right? But she is very vocal against Amazon. She does not like their business practices, and she does not think this deal should go ahead. The FTC basically has 5 people on the chair, and they vote on whether a deal can go through or not. But at the moment, the 5th chair is actually empty, so it's actually 4 people. And the current understanding is that it's 2 on 2. That Khan and one of the other chairs does not want this deal to go through, and the other 2 see no legal reason why it shouldn't. They, in theory, could begin a legal battle to prevent the sale. They could go to court and argue that this shouldn't happen, in which case the Amazon sale would collapse. But is it likely? Basically, we've got a couple of little problems with them going to court. They'd lose. Mainly because, even if morally Amazon aren't particularly liked and they don't really like this deal, legally Amazon have done nothing wrong. We have the antitrust laws in America, and they basically say that this deal with Amazon and MGM has to be bad for the public in somehow. It has to cost us more or create a monopoly in some way. That's not going to happen, even though several trade unions, including the Screenwriters Guild, are actually saying that's exactly what will happen, and they are creating a monopoly within the streaming service in particular. The other side of that coin, though, is to consider the Fox and Disney deal that went through for 10 times more than this deal with Amazon and MGM is worth, bringing together 2 of the biggest studios in Hollywood. Disney took over Fox and merged into one new streaming service, basically making Disney Plus the biggest streaming service out there. Nobody had a problem with that deal, even though it did take significantly longer than this deal is taking. It took 15 months for that deal to go through. But there was no legal battle. It was just a very complicated deal for it to go through the FTC. Basically insisted on there being several rules and provisos about how the deal was structured, in the same way that they did with the Time Warner deal a few years before that. Basically, they don't want Amazon to completely control MGM, even though they would own it. They want MGM to have some autonomy. So where are we at right now? There are 3 possibilities, basically, that I see. The FTC could just not oppose the deal, and that is actually where we stand at the moment. If the vote stays as 2 on 2, the deal will go through. They could not oppose the deal, but begin a legal battle. Now, this is a legal battle they would almost certainly lose, because legally the deal is perfectly correct. Amazon is not a big studio buying another big studio. When they have produced stuff for Amazon Prime in the past, it's normally in partnership with other studios. Look at their Star Trek Picard. That's in partnership with CBS. Wheel of Time was in partnership with Sony. That is how they have been producing material over the last few years. Now, the reason why they're buying MGM is because they want to start making far more of their own. They want to work with MGM to produce material for Amazon. The third possibility, though, is that they do oppose the deal and they do go to court and they win. Now, that's going to be a massive problem for MGM. As I say, they're 2 billion quid in debt and technically owned by their debtors. There were other people that wanted to buy MGM before this, but they were offering far lower than Amazon offered, anything up to 40% lower, nearly half. One of the big companies there was Apple. Now, Apple, to me, are a very similar company to Amazon in lots of ways. They own their own streaming service already. They do produce some television on a very small scale, and obviously they're an electronics company. I don't really see any major difference from the FTC's point of view between Apple or Amazon buying MGM. Currently, the FTC are making noises like they are going to refuse this deal, and they are going to begin the legal battle. Amazon, though, have known this for a little while. Go back and check previous videos. I've told you about how Amazon basically had two plans for Stargate. One, they wanted to produce a movie followed by a TV series. That, however, was dependent on the deal going through by April, May time, which is actually a lot of what MGM executives expect will happen. If there is a legal battle, that could add anything up to 6 months onto this, and then the sale will go through towards the end of this year, at which time Amazon don't want to then produce a movie followed by a series because they wanted to have it basically on our screens by 2023. So they'd flip it. They'd produce a TV series followed by a movie because they can produce a TV series much quicker than a film. They want to get customers on side with this deal, and they know that one way of doing that is to bring back the sleeping giant of sci-fi, Stargate, as quickly to our screens as possible. They would prefer to do that with a movie first and have a lot of big hype, but if they can't, they'll do it with a TV series instead. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit the thumbs up, not the thumbs down. Thumbs down helps nobody. And you can become a fully fledged sci-trekker and support the channel. Please consider hitting that join button. As always, guys, please stay safe. I'll see you soon.